Hello and welcome to the channel Tech and More. In this video, we're going to talk about the types of functional testing, and to better understand it, we have a demo website with us wherein we'll be understanding the different types of functional testing with the help of actual examples. So let's start. Now, before actually starting about learning the types of functional testing, let's first of all understand what functional testing is, right? So, functional testing, as the name suggests, basically revolves around testing the functional requirements or the specifications, right? So, for example, if the end customer or if your client says that I need you to build these functionalities, for example, I need you to build an about us page, a login page, a cart page, a sign up page, this basically this uh, you know uh, navigation of different products page. So these are the different functionalities. When I click on login page, I should be able to log in. When I click on the sign up page, I should be able to create an account. All these different functionalities provided by the client. So when you test these functionalities as per the requirements given by the client and make sure that the requirements that were given are working perfectly fine, that is termed as functional testing. The system is tested against the functional requirements or specifications. Cool. Now, let's jump on to different types of testing. So first of all, it is unit testing. Now, as the name suggests, unit basically means one, single, right? So if you see the definition here, it says testing of an individual component of the software. It is usually carried out by the developers and it requires a detailed knowledge of the internal program. Right. So I'll give you an example. So for example, if I go to this web page, you see the buttons and everything. But of course, uh, there is a lot of code implementation involved at the back of it, right? I'm just showing you an example. This is the basic sort of source code that is behind this web page. So it is the job of a developer to make sure. So for example, if a user goes to, let's suppose, login page, right? You see username and password here, but there is an entire code base written behind it. So the developer has to make sure that whatever she or he has written is written correctly or not, and it is working or not, or the best coding practices have been followed or not, right? So all these sort of different checks or validations is carried out under unit testing. Okay. One more pointer. So let's suppose in the login page and in the sign up page, these are two different functionalities. When I am testing only login page, when I'm concerned with only testing the login page, that is termed as unit testing. When I'm only concerned with testing the sign up page, that is termed as unit testing. That is, testing one functionality at a time is termed as unit testing. Okay. This is all you need to know about unit testing per se. Now, let's jump on to uh, regression testing. So, if you see the definition, it says test impact on correct functionalities as a result of major bug fixation. Now, this can be a bit tricky to understand. So, I'll give you an example. So, for example, you went to the sign up page, right? And you were testing it and you found out that you are not able to, let's suppose you put in the username or you put in the password, right? And you're not able to click on the button and create an account for yourself. So you raise a bug, and in the bug you say that I did enter a username, I did enter a password, but I was not able to create a new account, right? So uh, and that bug was given to the development team. It was fixed. It came back. You retested perfectly fine. Great. Now what happened is that entering these two details and then clicking on sign up, the issue was fixed. But now what happened due to some code changes, because in order to fix one thing, the other thing was disturbed. You must have heard about this, that in order to fix that particular thing, she or he disturbed the other thing. So that same thing happens in code or in tech as well, or in the IT implementations as well. A bug was there wherein we missed on testing that what if I just put in the data in the username field and click on sign up, it should show an error, right? But it was not. So this was a bug that was there, that came up as a result of the fixing of the previous bug, right? So regression testing is done at a stage when you, so for example, you raised this bug, the earlier bug which said username and password has been entered, still the user is not able to create an account, right? You raised this bug, the bug got fixed, you got it back. Now you should not have missed that, and you should have run the test cases which says that yes, I put in the username and I try to log in and I should get an error, right? So if you don't do that, if you skip getting that particular thing, so you should raise an issue. So that comes under regression testing. So now I think the definition makes more sense. That is, test impact on correct functionalities as a result of major bug fixations is termed as regression testing. And one thing that you should know is that automation testing is carried out you majorly for regression testing sort of things or sort of situations. Cool. Now let's jump on to the third one, that is acceptance or beta testing, right? So acceptance testing basically means that when you were given the requirements by the client to build a website of this sort, right? And you did build it, you performed the internal testing and everything, but the the client will not show the blind faith that the client says that, you know what, directly you have tested it, directly deploy it to the clients that the clients can start using it. No, before that there is one more filter, there is one more screen, that is the clients, the people who have asked you to build the software, they actually come in and test it. So that is termed as acceptance, user acceptance testing basically, right? And if you see in the line, it says post acceptance testing, prod comes into picture. That is, once you have done the testing from your end, it will not straight away go to production, or in simple words, I would say it will not be directly used by the client or the end users, right? It will be used by a couple of people from that client's team who have some knowledge about the system, and they'll test it, and then it will be good for the larger audience. That is what acceptance or user acceptance testing is. Now, let's jump on to the next one, which is smoke testing. Smoke testing is basically performed to ascertain that the critical functionalities of the program are working fine. It is also termed as build verification testing. Give an example. So you see this website here. Now, what happened is that you let's jump on to login because that is the most relatable functionality to understand. So you created a couple of test cases. Test case number one said that username when entered, password when entered, user clicks on login, user is able to log in. Test case number one. Test case number two is username entered, password field not entered, clicked on login, user not able to log in. Test case number three, username left blank, password entered, clicked on login, user not able to log in. And same when username and password are not entered and user clicks on login, user again not able to log in. Right? These four test cases. Now you have these four test cases, and you did not mark any of the test cases as the smoke test cases. That is not the critical test cases were not marked. Now what happened is that by randomity, you went ahead and you clicked on password. I mean, you filled in the data here. That is, you filled in the password and you clicked on login, and you were not able to log in. Makes sense. Now, you deleted this data and you went into username. You put in some value, and then you clicked on login. You were not able to log in. Great. But what happened is, out of four test cases, you tested the first three less critical ones, and the most critical, that is, you should put in the username, you should put in the password, and you should be able to log in. That was the most important, and that is not working. Right? So, do you understand my point? The point says that out of, let's suppose this is a very small example of one functionality. You usually get a lot of functionalities at one go, right? So let's suppose you have 50 test cases and you did not mark the smoke test cases and you randomly started testing. So what you realized was that I am not able to proceed with the major happy paths, and my effort till now, that is, I tested the less critical test cases, they were working fine, and the major test case that actually that actually drives all other test cases and all other functionalities is breaking. It's a bug. So your effort goes waste. You again send that particular build and you reject that build, that is build verification testing was not done. You reject that build and now you again test those test cases. So that results in a lot of overwork, a lot of same thing being done again and again. Correct. So that is why it is very critical that when we are designing the test cases, let's make sure that we are marking the test cases as the smoke test cases. That means the test cases which are very critical. Out of 50 test cases, there would be around 10 or 15 test cases that are very critical. For example, in login, when you enter the right username and password, you should be able to log in. Makes one smoke test case. In about us, when you click on about us, you click on this particular button of video, you should be able to play the video. I mean, then validating whether close works or not, whether this particular flame is correct or not, this verbiage is correct or not. These are different. These are afterwards. This is the most important test case, that you should be able to click and view the video, right? Then talking about the home, when you click on home button, you should be able to navigate to the home page, right? These are smoke test cases or the major most critical test cases out of the lot. So you should always mark them, because if you get a build and if it's not working as expected, then you can simply go ahead and you can simply say that the build is, I mean, the base of the build is wrong, so I'll not test further, please fix this and then I'll test it. That is what the smoke testing is. Now let's go on to sanity testing. Sanity testing is done to check the new functionality bugs have been fixed. It's a subset of regression testing, right? So basically, it says that sanity testing is done to check the new functionality bugs have been fixed. That means whenever you raise a bug for login page that you were not able to log in, and when you get that particular bug, you make sure that the particular bug has been fixed correctly or not, and the the issues that you raised have been fixed or not. When that is done, that is termed as sanity testing. That's all. So these one, two, three, four, five. These five types of functional testings are the most critical one, and you do get asked questions on these. So I hope that with the short explanations and the demo website, you were able to understand or get a gist of types of functional testing. Go through this video again. If you have any questions, any doubts, please feel free to comment. And as always, we assure to reach within 24 hours or respond within 24 hours. So thank you so much and see you in other videos.